Hello, Joseph here with the ClickFunnels customer education team. Today we're going to review how you can connect a Mailgun SMTP account with your ClickFunnels account. SMTP, or Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, is required if you're going to send emails online. So you will need this for follow-up funnels or for email automations. If you're on the standard plan, you can get one SMTP, and if you are a ClickFunnels Platinum member, you can have 3. So in this case, we're going to explore Mailgun. So to get started with this setup, you will of course need a Mailgun account. And you'll have to make sure that you have put your credit card information into Mailgun. Keep in mind they do offer free emails every month, but just to set up a custom domain, they do require you put in that credit card information. If you do have that in place, you can use Mailgun as your SMTP provider here in ClickFunnels. So let's get started with the setup by going up to our top navigation and click on Account Settings. Now, before we actually add this SMTP, we're going to need to set up an account. For this setup instruction, I'm going to show you how to set up an account using a domain registered through ClickFunnels. Now, if you registered your domain outside of ClickFunnels, you're going to have to go through this process, but you'll have to do it in your domain registrar. I still recommend following along this video and just trying to connect it as it would happen in your domain provider. So let's scroll on down. On the left navigation, our second to last option is domains. Let's click on that. And you see our domain registered here. I'm going to click on the 3 dots over here. Click Edit. So once our domain loads, we're going to go to our Edit Zone Records. Click Expand. And scroll all the way down. Now we're going to add a new record. And we want to, from the drop down, select CNAME. And then for the name, you'll likely want to put MG. In my case, I'm going to put MG2 simply because we've set up some other subdomains here before. Before we get our value, we actually need to hop over to Mailgun. Alright, so in our Mailgun account, we'll go along our left and click on the Sending tab. And when we click on that, it will open up our domains. You're going to likely just have this sandbox domain set up unless you've had other domains in the past. In this case, though, let's add a new domain up here in the right corner. And I'm going to put in that MG2. And then I'm going to put in my domain. And I'm going to leave it at US. DKIM Authority 1024 sounds good. So we're going to click Add Domain. Now you see in the top right corner we get a successfully created domain message. Now we have a variety of records. You'll see we have 2TXT, 2MX, and we have a CNAME. We're going to start from the bottom and do our CNAME. And so our host name is email.mg2, and then our domain. We only need the first part of this. So you notice I'm just doing the email.mg2, or in your case it might just be email.mg. Hit copy. And then the value is mailgun.org. So let's hop back over to ClickFunnels. Alright, so back in ClickFunnels, we put in that name email.mg.2. And then our value is mailgun.org. And then we'll save our CNAME record. Now we're going to need to copy both the TXT records and both the MX records. I'm going to do the TXT first, so let's select TXT and let's hop back over to Mailgun. Alright, so back in Mailgun, let's scroll up to the top. We see just MG2, or again, in your case, it might just be MG. So I'm going to just remember that. Then I'm going to click the little copy icon next to the value. And let's hop back to ClickFunnels. Alright, so again, we saw MG2. And then I'm going to paste in that value exactly as it was. And click Save. Now we go to our zone records. Scroll on down. Do another TXT record, and we'll get that other one from Mailgun. Alright, so this one's a little bit longer, but again, we only need the beginning. We don't need the part with our domain. It's krs._domainkey.mg2 in my case. I'm going to copy that. Then I'm going to off screen come back and copy this. Again, just copy it using this button. So let's hop back over to ClickFunnels and paste both of those in. Alright, so in ClickFunnels, we put in the KRS domain key, and then the value, paste that in. Again, leave that unedited, and click Save. Alright, we still have 2 more records. Those are our MX records. So let's scroll down, select MX, and then we'll go back to Mailgun. Alright, so now in Mailgun, we can see these 2 records are both MG2 in our case. Again, this would likely be just MG in your case. And we have an mxa.mailgun.org and an mxb.mailgun.org. If you want to do this more slowly and just come back and copy these as you want to, you can. I'm going to just do this a little bit quicker for you on screen here. So let's copy mailgun.org just so that's easy to remember. And let's hop back to ClickFunnels. So again, both of these are MG2, and then we have mxa.mailgun.org. Make sure not to miss any periods in there. mxa.mailgun.org. Save. And then we have our MX record, MG2, mxb.mailgun.org. Again, in your case, this may just be MG or whatever you decide to make your subdomain. We'll click Save. Alright, so now that all those records are set up, we're going to hop over to Mailgun and verify each of these records. Alright, in our Mailgun account, you see all the records here. I'm going to go down, start from the bottom, click Verify. Click Verify here. And then it's asking us how we would like to send. We're going to select SMTP. So that's the right option. Click Select. And you'll see it gives us some SMTP credentials here. We will need some of these for our setup in ClickFunnels. So now we are ready to go back to ClickFunnels and let's get started there. Alright, so back in ClickFunnels, go back to your left navigation here. Click on the Email Integrations SMTP tab. Now, if this is your first time setting SMTP up, you'll see a screen just like this one, and you'll want to go with transactional and marketing at this step. If it's not, instead you'll have in the top right corner a Add New SMTP option. But for this setup, we'll click here. And now we get to set up each of these steps here for Mailgun. Just going to call this Mailgun. I'm going to put in my first name. And the from email, I'm just going to put as from the domain I have here. Now for the SMTP server, port, user, and password, let's actually review that in Mailgun. And one note to keep in mind, you can also review that in the documentation here for Mailgun. So if you do get confused, always feel free to check that as well. But let's hop over to Mailgun. Alright, so in Mailgun, we see our SMTP hostname. This is our server. So let's copy smtp.mailgun.org. And remember our port is 587. Alright, so in ClickFunnels, I'm going to paste in that smtp.mailgun.org. I'm going to put in our SMTP port, 587. For user and password, you'll notice that was in Mailgun as well. So let's hop back over there and retrieve those. So you see our username, postmaster at MG2. Let's copy this entire thing. Copy that. And we're also going to need to copy this password. I'm going to do that part off screen. Again, just want to show you where to retrieve this. Make sure to copy both your username, put that in, then come back, get your password. Alright, so in ClickFunnels, let's paste in that username. And again, we will paste in the password. And then for SMTP domain, we know we verified this already. So we put in, again, likely you're going to have mg.yourdomain.com, whatever that is. And this is what I did, the MG2. For domain, I will choose my domain in ClickFunnels, which is important to have set up. And finally, you need to put in your address information for CAN spam compliance. You can fill that in on your end. I'll just auto-populate that here off screen now. And finally, you'll need your SMTP footer. For this, you can actually check the links below. Once again, I'm going to copy that from the article here and paste that in. So just right-click, paste. And you can see that in here. You'll want to, of course, fill in your information accordingly. For me, I'm going to set this as default, simply because it is our first and only setup. And then we'll just review. We have a title, a name, an email, the server and port, our username, password, domain, And then we have our address information footer, and we have this set. Then we'll click Save SMTP. And at this point, you see we get a success message letting us know our integration was successfully created. So going forward, when we set up any follow-up funnels, any broadcast email automations, etc., it will ensure that Mailgun is used as our SMTP provider. If you did run into any trouble along the way here, or if you have any questions about anything within the ClickFunnels platform, always feel free to reach out using the little help icon in the bottom right of your screen. You'll see our support staff is more than ready to help you out and get you moving forward. Until next time, happy funnel hacking.